meeting to order. Everybody could rise. We pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gonna call a meeting to order. It's a meeting of the New Hampshire Fish and Game Commission. Today's Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. 1 p.m. We're at the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department, 11 days in Concord. The public is entitled to attend all commission meetings, and when recognized by the chairman, the public may speak on any item on the agenda. The chairman reserves the right to limit public comments to the extent necessarily for the orderly conduct of the meeting. One of my rules too is if you get up to speak, please give your name and where you're from. First item, approval of the September 17th, 2024 commission minutes.
Move to approve.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Consent agenda. Following items have been grouped together and noticed as consent agenda items to expedite action on routine matters, which may not require public discussion. Commission members may remove certain items if further public input or discussion is deemed necessary. Item 2A, approval to accept the following donations totaling $5,150 made to the search and rescue account. Paul Bissett, $5,000, John Collins, $100, Maureen Greenberg, $50 for a total of $5,150. Item 2B, approval to accept a donation of $650 from the Nash Stream Camp Owners Association for deposit into the Operation Game Thief account. Item 2C, approval to accept a donation of $25 from the Three Rivers Stocking Association for deposit into small gifts and donations account for use by the Inland Fisheries Division. Item 2D, approval to accept a donation of $1,000 from the Rough Grouse Society to be used as a match for a habitat project at the Danbury Bog Wildlife Management Area to benefit grouse. 2E, approval to accept a donation of $50 from the New Hampshire Trappers Association for use by the Wildlife Division for fur bearer management. Item 2F, approval to accept a donation of $200 from the Quincy Bog Natural Area Permy Baker Land Trust for use by the Wildlife Division for bear management. Item 2G, approval to accept a donation of $100 from the Guilford Public Library for deposit into the small gifts and donations account. Item 2H, approval to accept a donation of $100 from the North Star Education Services, LLC of Bedford, New Hampshire, in the memory of John Forrestal of Concord, New Hampshire, for deposit into the small gifts and donations account. Item 2I, approval to accept the donation of $75 from Sharon Fanger, Lebanon, New Hampshire, for the deposit into the small gifts and donations account. Do I have a motion to accept items 2B, 2A through 2I?
I'll make a motion.
Motion was made by Commissioner Temple,
I'll second it.
seconded. Discussion? Those in favor of items 2A through 2I, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And passes. Financial statement, Kathy Labonte. You don't have to stand up, Kathy.
Secondly, you should have received both August and September. And I also provided you for the first quarter, the expense report for the commission expense report that Mr. Green, Commissioner Green has requested. Do I have any questions?
Chris isn't here. Any questions for Kathy? Thank you, Kathy. Next informational item, the overview of agency IT plan.
I'd like to introduce Doris. She is a new member of our team. I guess the way to say it is you're employed through DOIT, and you are what we call the DOIT lead. So she kind of manages the DOIT employees here at the department. We share her 50-50 with the Veterans Home. And Doris?
Thank you, Doris McCullough, IT lead, and what I'm presenting is the agency IT plan. This is the inaugural IT plan that we'll be presenting every biennium moving forward. And what this is, I believe you all received a copy of the presentation. Did that get forwarded to?
I believe.
And
It's not in your packet, right? It's not in the packet.
Okay, what it is it is a public viewable guide as to how the IT department will be supporting Fish and Game and the initiatives moving forward for the next biennium. And what we are utilizing this to do is to just develop a guide. It's not a to-do list. The agency IT plan is simply a formal document that maps how the agency's views and goals for the future will be supported by IT. It will help to map out funding plans, determine support that is needed to move the Fish and Game department forward. And over the next biennium, some of our initiatives are to improve constituent accessibility services. And what we do is map it to the state IT plan as well, and how it coincides with the state IT plan, in which it will be supporting their initiative for modern digital government. This will include 4 to 8 web portals, making sure they're modernized, updated, are compatible with ADA compliance as well. We'll also be working to improve Fish and Game's access to the network through improved network connectivity. The goal is to put everybody on a state network, all of the regional offices, over the next few years. What it takes to upgrade the infrastructure, give them access not only to the internet, but the network resources as well, in order to do their jobs more efficiently. And part of the New Hampton Fish Hatchery project, supporting them with the technology needs that they're going to need, working with the inland fisheries team to ensure they have those tools necessary, to figure out how we can get those tools to them, deliver them to them efficiently and securely. And that's the guide for the next couple of years. Again, it's a guide. It's not a how-to. It's not a to-do list. We'll develop that through teamwork and collaboration throughout the next few years. And that is it. I wanted to keep it short and brief. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If I could. I'm just curious. The technology process can be a little bit foggy for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The support that New Hampshire Fish and Game will get, will it be directly from the office at UIT, or will things be outsourced to contractor somewhere?
It
Or-
depends on, I'm sorry.
You know, for improvements that you might hear that Fish and Game would like to have, what they need to have to be contemporary with providing services to the public and also services to all of the personnel. So,
It depends on the technology. There are some pieces that are outsourced. Details such as cabling. And some of the hardware pieces get outsourced. Other support, such as the daily connectivity issues, will remain within DOIT. But it all depends on the project. Like inland fisheries, some of it will come from our network operations team, telecom, infrastructure, and some of it may come from external sources depending on what the technology is that's needed. At this point, it's a very high level view as to what we want for goals, how we can support the agency. So it's situationally dependent.
thank you.
There will be a lot more technology at the new hatchery in New Hampton. So, I mean, and we've discussed this before, and you folks are certainly well aware of it. We're not rebuilding the same, you know, is up and running and keeps running is very important. So UIT will be playing a much bigger role at that hatchery than they have at our old hatcheries. The other big area we got with DOIT at our hatcheries is Berlin, and that's just a matter of not having conductivity with the rest of the outside world. We have a very hard time. We do not have a good source for internet connection up there. So that is another issue that we're trying to solve, but have not come up with a good plan on solving this yet.
Go ahead.
Obviously, we don't have the plan in front of here, but does this, so your work and what you do, does that affect like, let's say, individual computers for the department? Like if a biologist has their computer, like does that fall under your kind of purview?
It can. I may not necessarily, if I don't have the access or the tools to be able to fix it, I can escalate the issue.
So I guess my question specifically to this plan that's in place, A, how much of it is legislative, meaning it's required? So my question specifically about like open source code, say a biologist found this really good program that somebody made for biological research, but it's an open source code. Can they put that on their computer?
It would have to get approved first, and I would submit, I would be the one that submits that to the infrastructure team and the cybersecurity team to ensure that it is safe, that it's secure, and will not, does not have any embedded code.
And how complicated of a process is that?
For me, it's an email, and then it's following up. I give them I gather the information from the person requesting the software, and then I submit it to the cybersecurity team and follow up with them until it's resolved and the decision is made.
And so I guess my next step question, and forgive me for not understanding all the legality of it, and also even the needs of the department, but just trying to have some foresight for our biologists. Is it possible, if there is a situation in which they want a program, it's deemed unsafe to be on a computer, that we can have a computer that's dedicated to a project like that?
I would find out there are ways that we might be able to work with it. There's a lot of technical pieces in the background.
Right.
It would be very limited as to what it could access.
Right.
With network resources and such, in order to protect not just Fish and Game network throughout the state. But I can't give that a yes or a no, but I would certainly I would be the one working with DOIT to get you something, whether it's a similar application that would work for those purposes, or figure out how we can get that hardware, keep it secured and still able to access the application, so you can have the tools you need.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any more questions? Okay, not seeing any, thank you very much for the information.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee reports. We're going to be making some changes to some of the committees, so I'll do it on each one of your reports. Legislative committee.
Mr. Chairman, we did not meet. We haven't got anything coming out of the Gold Dome across the street yet, but Marty handed out the updates so far of where we are on potential coming forward and whatnot. Before I actually go any further, may I ask Kathy a question?
Certainly.
I'm looking at the financial statement for the period ending August 31st of 2024.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at the financial statement for the period ending September 30th, 2024.
Okay.
The bottom line on the actual revised estimate on both months is identically the same.
Correct.
Is that normal?
That is very normal. The only time that will change, it changed from the original estimate when we received the marine gas tax and OHIV underfunded road tolls. And that will stay absolutely the same, with the exception of when we go to fiscal committee and request a transfer of funds from the Fish and Game Fund, the appropriations will increase. And then at the end of the year, June 30th, when we add the lapses back in. Those are the only two items that would change that bottom line.
I know you said it's how they want it over there or some damn thing, but it doesn't, it bounces right back at me. It's not normal budget procedure, the way that's being handled, but that's the way they want it. Is that what you're saying? Or I thought that's what you said for years, dear.
That's the way who wants it.
I don't know, somebody
This
across the street.
financial statement, Commissioner, is strictly for Fish and Game. This goes nowhere.
It's only us?
This is only a statement for Fish and Game.
Right.
Specifically, it was designed for the commission prior to me even coming here.
Okay. We'll talk later. Thank you.
I was going to recommend that.
Yep.
And maybe you get with, and see what you would recommend.
Yeah, okay. No,
Seeing where it's coming just to us.
I'll get with Chris.
Thanks.
Pack lunch?
We'll gang up on Kathy.
That's fine.
No, you won't. Okay, on the legislative committee. I know tomorrow we're anticipating 2 replacement commissioners to be confirmed. Keep in mind that until we get the paperwork, there will be some commissioners once their paperwork is done. So there's a couple of changes I want to make on the committees. Number one, on your committee, AJ, you're going on legislative committee starting today. And Mr. DeVoe, you'll be coming off legislative committee starting today. So you will have, for now, Commissioner DeRosa.
And Commissioner Cavanagh and Commissioner McGowan.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Governance committee. Okay, she's not here anymore.
No.
So on the governance committee, I think it's going to be safe to say there hasn't been a meeting this month. So from the governance committee, effective right now, Commissioner DeRosa, you will take the chair of the governance committee. And that'll be in line with Commissioner Cavanagh, Commissioner Temple, and Commissioner Titone. The other thing we discussed on later the month.
Yep.
Sustainability and strategic planning. Commissioner Hodgson's not here.
No meeting.
Did they have a meeting?
No, we
Okay. Resource and infrastructure. Commissioner DeRosa.
We have a meeting after this meeting.
Okay, and effective right now, Commissioner Pat, you're going on that committee right now. The thing we discussed earlier will take place next week.
Sure.
Okay? Because I got to place new commissioners when they come on. Public engagement and education. I'm going too fast down there. Commissioner DeRosa.
We've still been unable to make a quorum, obviously hoping to resolve that with the new incoming commissioners.
That's gonna be resolved right now. I am removing Commissioner Hodgson from that committee. And Commissioner McGonigal, you're going on it as of now. I hope that'll straighten out now. Seacoast Committee report.
There was a public hearing held on September 23rd by the American Lobster Board, part of the Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission, to consider postponing the lobster gauge increase from January 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2025. And by postponing the implementation of this gauge increase to July 1st, any negative impacts to U.S. and Canadian lobster industries would be reduced, and that Canada would have more time to consider applying the same regulations as the U.S. lobster fishery. That's it.
Anybody got any questions for Commissioner? Lakes Management Advisory Committee and New Hampshire Rivers Management Advisory Committee. I don't think either one has met. However, Chris's paperwork has been put in, yours has been put in.
Yeah.
It's in the hand of DES now, informing the governor's office, which I'm sure the governor's office is watching it close to get it hurried through.
I have been in touch with Nisa Mark, the watershed coordinator.
Yep.
And we've been emailing back and forth. I am getting some information from them now.
Okay.
And they anticipate having their next meeting in January.
I know the last time I sent a letter directly to the governor and trying to let the people do what they should be doing, but if you find any issues, I can follow up further on that to try and expedite those through. Search committee's been sunsetted. Anybody have any old business?
Commissioner, did we want to vote on the legislative proposals this week?
The what?
The legislative proposals?
Which one?
All of them?
That we voted on last time.
No.
Minutes reflect that.
We voted on the one last time.
The minutes reflect that all 7 were voted on.
No, we voted on the rules.
Commissioner Eastoe moved to approve the recommended changes to the legislative proposals, and Commissioner Hodgson seconded it, unanimously approved.
Opposed the changes, the language changes. Yes, there was a proposed change to the boat access to change it from may to shall.
Yep.
And then the language in the, the repeat offenders poaching, to change that to a restitution rather than a penalty. So the language changes were approved, and I made those changes, but we need to approve going forward with the proposals.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I guess I'll make a formal proposal here, motion, to hopefully put this to bed, that we approve all 7 the proposal recommendations, mainly housekeeping, in my opinion, but anyway, approve those 7 that we discussed last meeting.
Okay, so that would have been, I'm sorry, you're making a motion, right?
Yep.
Somebody want to second
I'll
that?
second that.
Second that, discussion? I just want to clarify on it, when you say the 7.
Yep.
The vote access potential of legislation changes?
Yep.
So,
The guide apprenticeship, the housekeeping bills. Number 4 is major projects. Number 5 is marine habitat fee, there's gonna, a brand new one gonna be established. Number 6, non-game account, so that they can't steal money out of the non-game account across the street. And repeat, poachers, offenders bill, all those 7, I thought we handled last time, but I guess it was just the changes. Right now, I'm recommending that we approve those as changed.
is that including amendment 214-1G, fishery habitat fee?
So what?
This one here.
Yeah, right here. Right here. These are in the minutes from last time. Right here.
Right, we
Right
didn't
here,
have
the
that
fishery
language
habitat
last
fee,
month.
we'll do that. What's that?
We didn't have that language last month.
Yeah, 214-1H was what we had discussed last week. Or last
It's
month.
part of the housekeeping.
Okay, so those have already been approved.
Yeah, that's, was it, that's a fee change, that's a fee. Once that's discussed by the director, the commission needs to approve it. Anything to do with fees, 20610, anything to do with fees, the commission has to approve it.
My only concern on it where it says, the executive director shall establish the amount of fishery habitat fee and rules in accordance with RSA 541A. Is that gonna change it away from the commission?
It shouldn't, on the
No.
20610.
541A is the statute that regulates rulemaking, but the commission already has authority to weigh in on any fees set by the executive director.
There's several in that deal.
Right, the wildlife habitat fee, this is styled after the
I'm
wildlife
just making
habitat.
sure there's no authority taken away from the commission.
No, not at
I'll
all.
go along with you.
Now, my understanding was last month, we didn't really discuss these. We just presented them for consideration, and y'all could have a month to think about them, and then come back and vote whether to move forward with them or not this month. And then after elections next month, I'll be getting them filed.
You're probably what?
I'll be getting them filed.
I thought you said getting fired.
Well, some people might like that, but
I'll go along with what you said. So your motion is to,
Approve all 7 proposals as discussed last month with the changes. So all the changes that were recommended last month is now included to.
okay, any more discussion on the amendment? The motion?
what-
Okay, not seeing?
sorry. I just wanted to bring to your attention, number 4, the major projects one, that is changing a statute that will impact Fish and Game, but my understanding is that the National Guard will be filing that legislation. We'll just be supporting it.
That was just presented last month.
Yeah, Scott,
information.
yeah.
My only thing, Marty, I'd say on number 4, where it says, the executive director may in his discretion, I'd say we stay politically correct and do a his/her. I don't think we need a motion for that.
I think that's existing.
Mine says in his discretion.
Oh, his part?
This is under amendment 20611, showing number 4 in the House bill fence.
I'm sorry, I don't know which one you're talking about.
On the housekeeping bill.
Oh, on the housekeeping bill. Okay,
Item number 4,
2-4.
amending 20611.
Public notice on the public hearing.
I think it's line 9, if I counted it right.
20611, all right.
That it says, the executive director may, in his discretion, conduct. I like to stay politically correct and have it as his/her.
Yes. OLS has gone,
I don't think we have to have a motion, I think it's just,
and we don't even have to put that in our proposal. OLS is going through the
Yeah.
process anytime a statute is changed, they
I just don't
update
want to run it down the road and somebody say it's supposed to be his. And we don't have a his as a director or
that. They're changing that
down
over
the
to
future,
OLS.
you know.
Mhm.
Their discretion.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
mean-
changing it to their or his, her, or, yeah.
You know how legislation, one word can change everything. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Not hearing any. Let's move on.
Thank you.
Old business, is that where we were at? Anybody have old business? Anybody have new business?
I got one. The North American Grasslands Act was reintroduced to Congress again this past week, which I don't think would have significant impact on us, but it could have some impact. So just putting that on the radar as a potential thing that we should be looking into of how it affects the department, because it is for habitat money, a lot of money for monarch and butterfly type stuff, which the department does a lot
And
on.
that would fall under the legislation committee.
It would, but I'm
Now,
just
we
bringing it
run
up, so
that
it's.
committee, I'd go with the chairman of the legislature committee and set up a meeting and get it on his agenda.
Okay.
I'm just trying to hurry up a little bit, I got people here that have to get to a hearing today. Not trying to get them to a hearing today. Any other new business? Okay, not hearing any. Commissioners' reports. Any commissioner have anything they'd like to report?
Mr. Chairman. This might be the director's last commission meeting. I'm not totally sure. Last time I talked to Commissioner Hodgson, he had a difficult time getting a hold of the proposed new director for information relayed about strategic planning.
Yep.
I tried via email, via phone, no contact, so. Gentlemen, that being said, this may not be the director's last meeting if we can't get a new director in this building. But if we do, I want to thank Director Mason for your leadership these last 4 years. May I continue, Mr. Chairman?
Under new business?
Commissioner Wolf.
Oh, okay, yes, please continue.
Uh,
I'm gonna fill you in on, was gonna fill you in on what you were saying about the director.
oh, okay. You wanna,
I figured it was a good time to do it.
okay, yeah.
I have spoken with the supposedly new director, and, she is in the motions going through, coming up, getting established. And my understanding is that it will take place on November 1st. So I don't want rumors going around that there's a issue that she may not come. I I have all the indications on if she is
Thank you.
coming. Okay?
My second item is, I attended the Connecticut Lakes, meeting. It was quite argumentative. The director was there as well. The Connecticut Lakes Advisory Committee itself met with the public up there in reference to expansion of the ATV season in the Connecticut Lake track. This commission went on record as being unanimously opposed to extending that, and I thank you very much for that, and the people in the town of Pittsburgh, thank you very much for that. There has been 2 weeks of silence up there from the four-wheeler. The commissioner, Commissioner Stewart listened to our comments, and I think the commission's action on that particular issue was very paramount in her decision to not allow the expansion of ATVs. And my last comment is I'd like to commend Colonel Jordan for organization of Officer Fry's funeral service. I was never so impressed in my life with a fishing game organized service for one of their own. Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That's it.
Any other commissioner have anything like to report? Commissioner Temple?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to the staff that's bringing completion to the new fishing access.
What? Speak up.
Fishing access improvements on the Connecticut River. Sullivan County has been waiting for that for a long time. And second thing is the old number 4 Sportsman's Club is making significant improvements to their rifle range, pistol range, and their fight range. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have quick. I'd like to thank everybody that served on the board with me. It was a real fun past 5 years, very educational. Thank you to staff. You guys are excellent. Had a great experience here. We've got Dave Poole next up, a Rumney resident, fly fisherman. You can get a line wet with the best of them. He's going to be approved, I believe, tomorrow to be the next Grafton County. He's going to be a good person to see, so I'm happy to see him.
Thank you, sir. For
Yes,
being
thank you.
Just as a reminder, so again, put a halt on some of the rumors. You are a commissioner, and so you are officially replaced. And I know one is in this room. You do not become a commissioner until all your paperwork is done. And then we have proof of it coming to you. So that is done, you are not a commissioner. I can't emphasize that enough. Any other commissioner have anything they would like to say? Not seeing any hands. Director's report.
Well, not much more to tell you about the Connecticut Headwaters meeting, but I did want to thank Commissioner Stewart for her decision to not extend the ATV season up in Pittsburgh. I think that was a wise choice. I would also like to thank all of you that attended Levi Fry's funeral. We had over 400 people in attendance, and it was certainly a tribute to his service and to his life. We had fishing game agencies from as far away as Maryland in attendance. Today will be the 4th meeting of the Fishing Game Funding Study Committee. There seems to be support amongst the committee members to increase funding levels for the department. Their last meeting will be October 24th, and then their reports due November 1st. The contract for the contract manager, the company that will be in charge of constructing the new hatchery, will be before the council on 10/30. which is the day before my final day, so hopefully we'll have that put to bed before I leave. I would like to take a second and thank the commission, and the staff. It has been a pleasure working with you folks for the last 4 years, and wish you luck in the future. Thank you.
Calls to the public. Public has anything to say, keep in mind, I'd like you to stay pretty well. Stan?
Hello, Christina Snyder from Chester, New Hampshire. And I just want to say that I'm wearing black today because it's a very sad day, because today is the opening of trapping season. And as many of you know, I really fight hard to stop what I consider legal animal cruelty and legal animal torture. It is a horrific thing, and I'm so disappointed that this agency constantly puts out endless propaganda that is some kind of necessary tool to recreational trap. When I can 100%, and I stand here confident in that, I can smash every rationalization that is put out there against recreational trapping. It's a horrible thing. And just case in point, I came across a video yesterday. New Hampshire trapper came up there with his 8-year-old son. Between the two of them, they drop an F-bombs right and left, whatever. They kill a raccoon, and they pull out the raccoon's paw, and it's as flat as a pancake. And there's visible marks deep into the flat pancake paw where the trap was. And this agency wants to tell the public that there's no cruelty involved in trapping. Well, I strongly disagree. And I want to say, and I will never apologize for being against trapping and to going against any trapper. I will take on anybody and anything to defend these animals. And I just want to say, if you sit on the commission and you're biased against the public, because we stand up here against trapping and you read off letters going against the public and you show your clear bias in your legislation and how you run things, just like we know someone's leaving and we know why. Don't do it. You are here to represent all of the public, and those days of you running the show are over. Please understand you need to be equal to everyone that is up here and everyone that testifies. And since there's been all these petitions and all these people coming forward, I have not seen in my 10 years plus coming here, any positive change for animals coming from this commission and from this agency other than the non-game. And that has to change. So thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, not seeing anything else? And that's a motion to
Make a motion to adjourn?
yes.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
adjourn.
This is worth the time.